So here we are. Clarity and connection in the face of Jew hatred. Now, reading this book really has brought out a lot of anti-Semites. I don't know how many. A lot of people saw this. Most people didn't like it, and they wrote comments, and the comments were anti-Jewish. So, we're coming down here to the end of this book, and I urge everybody who listens to this is a book not for the anti-Semites. They're out there anyway, and right now is the time when they're really being promoted. See what happens. God should bless us. We look for sweetening of these dinim. We look for taking the air out of the balloon of the hate. That's what we're looking to do by bringing out these ideas. These ideas are for Jewish people to come back, for people who want to help and love God, to want to help here. Now here's a story about a man by the name of Guy. One of the well-known stories about the popular Israeli comedian, and there is a whole culture there in Israel that America Jews, no matter how religious you are, have real no clue about, who announced in March 24 that he plans on keeping Shabbat for the first time. And he invited his hundreds of thousands of followers on social media to join him, saying that he wants at least 100,000 people to keep Shabbat for the first time. I may not be religious, but I'm a very proud Jew. And we all remember and need to remember October 7th. Guy said in a video message, I'm not doing it for the Geula, the redemption, but for the Achdut, for the unity to bring the Jewish people together, and for our heroic soldiers on the battlefront. Today, the heart of most of Am Yisrael is in the right place. Let's keep one Shabbat and the divisive discourse, and bring the Ruach, the spirit of a shared destiny, from the battlefront to the home front. The depth of this spiritual response is profound as he implored for one Shabbat will turn off the screens. We won't let anyone divide us. They murdered us on Shabbat because we're Jews. On Shabbat, we'll get up and say that we're proud to be Jews, so that all our enemies who thought that we're a divided nation will know that the eternal nation won't break so easily. Wow. Now he has a section here as we're coming really to the end of this book. He says, a choice in every generation. The story of the Jewish people from Abraham to Guy and Sherry and these other people that we heard from here. From every young Israeli who defends his people in the IDF or learns Torah day and night in yeshiva. To Baruch and Sapir, and to every Jewish American college student like Max and Blake. It's about choice. Jewish history shows us that our enemies can destroy countless Jewish bodies, but just as the letters in Rabbi Hanina's burning Torah scroll flew to heaven, the Jewish people and the Jewish spirit will prevail. The Jewish people have traveled most of their journey, and the destination is in sight. The choice is in front of each of us. Zev Magen exhorts, we have to make the conscious and collective decision to gird our creative loins, to recover the guts and the confidence, the romance and the idealism. If we revive the fire and the fascination, the study and the practice, the passion and the love, If we come back to our people with the world in our backpacks and combine what we've learned with all that we are, then the Jews will again shine their light. Find yourself in the Jewish story. Discover the collective power of your community. Engage more deeply with your heritage. And let it be your shield against adversity, empowering you to carry forward the torch of your people with pride and purpose. Rabbi Lord Sachs left this core teaching for his family, that is, the Jewish people. This, then, is our story, our gift to the next generation. I received it from my parents, and they from theirs. Across great expanses of space and time, there's nothing quite like it. It still challenges the moral imagination of mankind. I want to say to my children, take it, cherish it, learn to understand and love it. Carry it, and it will carry you. And may you, in turn, pass it on to your children. For you are a member of an eternal people, a letter in their scroll. Let their eternity live on in you. As for me, I simply love being part of a tiny, world-changing family. I am so fortunate that I know that my life matters, that I can make a difference in our people's wild adventure through history. I am also fortunate that I have been able to flip anti-Semitism on its head and filter out the negative noise that can easily weaken Jewish pride. What remains is the pure inspiration of being part of an incredible, warm, loving, caring, creative, and idealistic people. We are the most tenacious and resilient people who never lost hope in the optimistic plot line delivered to them 3,500 years ago. Let's read this again. We are the most tenacious and resilient people who never lost, that is us. We keep bending and breaking almost, but pulling ourselves back together again. We never lost hope in the optimistic plot that the world in fact can be made pure and perfect, delivered to them 3,500 years ago. That's the old story, the real story beneath everything. We never felt ourselves victims, and through it all we have stayed resolute and happy, knowing that it is going to get really good soon. We Jews are compared to olives, because sometimes the best of us come out when we're being crushed. So I want to thank our enemies for helping to keep us sharp, to keep us on our toes and unified, for reminding us who we are when we sometimes forget, for forcing us to develop solutions to the challenges they throw at us, propelling us into a startup nation, and for allowing us a pivotal role in cleaning up the world from evil. It's a privilege to face and fight evil because decreasing darkness increases light. Even if we would prefer to spend our energies on our moral, natural inclination to seek wisdom and spread love, we know this is part of our mission too. He writes, I love being Jewish. I am grateful for my privilege and remain humbled by the responsibility. He writes the last line, this is your story, Achi. Achi means my brother. As I said, this is in the smoke and the fire of the anti-Semite. It's popping up every place. We need to find ourselves. So he writes, this is a postscript. See, listen, postscript. There it is. A story too hard to believe. The story of the Jewish people is told in the greatest bestseller of all time called the Bible. This epic narrative has captivated the imaginations of billions of people around the world who have nothing else in common except that story. In movie theaters, we see fantastic images brought to life with special effects, often the work, really, of Jewish writers and directors or based on Jewish creators' work like Marvel and DC comic books, those movies. These films frequently follow the plot pattern set by original script of the Jewish people, the Jewish story. Starting with the underdog hero, the offer of a challenging mission, should he decide to accept it or not. Moving through high stakes and challenges, experiencing a downfall and crisis when failure seems inevitable. And ending with resolution and a happy ending has become humanity's legend. The characters may vary, but the core storyline remains the same. Sometimes superhero movies and shows seem too incredible to believe. But what about the Jewish origin story? Can we accept it to be true, or is it just too much to believe? In some respects, it does not matter if this story is true. The Jewish impact and the backlash against it all are historical facts. Our culture, technology, and history would be unrecognizable if Abraham Avinu, and his descendants had never crossed and recrossed the desert. Whether divinely initiated or not, the Jewish people and the story of the Jewish people inspires wonder. But doesn't it pique our curiosity to know if it was? Can we determine if the epic Jewish story as understood by classical Judaism is true? He says, I believe that we can. Exploring the nature of God in the Torah among the most important inquiries anyone could undertake. These topics matter because the outcomes, whatever they may be, fundamentally shape our worldview and profoundly impact our lives. They inform us about the meaning of life, the existence of free will, the concept of objective morality, and the very nature of what and who we are. Whether we live only 80 or 90 years, or if our souls are that endure much longer. The answer to this big question is beyond the scope of this book. However, I have written up some thoughts on the matter that might be believed to be a very strong case in a pamphlet called A Story Too Hard to Believe. Now, apparently this man is prolific in a certain way, but he's not popular. He's not really on the mainstream. He's not Ben Shapiro in the United States. But I see him appear in English-speaking audiences, and I know he's a videographer. He has many videos. The answer to this big question is beyond the scope of this book, he writes. However, I have written up some thoughts on the matter, and he has in this book a story too hard to believe. He says it's available to my readers, and he has a website right here, and he says it's Raphael Shore, Raphael Shore. He apparently has the R and the S capitalized.com. Please visit and download for your free copy. So we recommend this to everyone. It's been a pleasure reading this man's book. It's a really clear idea. I think it takes a lot of bravery because you can see that we got a lot of shouts from people who don't like us. Because a man had the guts to print a cover like this one. Who's afraid of the big bad Jew and all these horrible people throughout history? Stop supporting genocide by any means necessary. climate activists. Kill that Jew. Okay, that's it. Very big pleasure, once again, reading the book of Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Jew.